So, what happens when a company that's doing incredibly well realizes, well, that almost no one's ever heard of them? That's the exact challenge facing Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Now, these guys have been a powerhouse for years, but now they're completely rewriting their playbook. Why? Because they figured out that just being good at what you do, it just isn't enough anymore.
I mean, listen to this quote from the CEO, Brian Holland. It's so honest, right? You just don't hear a leader come out and say, yeah, we're the best kept secret. But this isn't just a random comment. It's a public announcement that their entire strategy is about to flip. They're done being quiet and they're ready to be known.
And if you want to understand just how big this secret is, look at this number, $2.65 billion. That's the value of the mortgages they originated in just the last 9 months. It's kind of crazy, right? It creates this huge paradox. How can a multi-billion-dollar company feel totally invisible? So that brings us to our first section here, a billion-dollar secret. We're going to unpack what that actually means and why, for a company like Atlantic Bay, it suddenly became this urgent problem that they had to solve, like right now.
Yeah, if you're picturing some small, little startup, you can forget that idea. Atlantic Bay is based in Virginia Beach, and they have over 80 branches and more than 225 loan officers. So the problem was never about the size of their operation. It was about the size of their shadow. For a company with this kind of massive footprint, not having brand recognition isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a hard ceiling on your growth.
So how do you fix a best-kept secret problem? That brings us to Section 2, enter the new CMO. See, Atlantic Bay's solution wasn't just to launch a new ad campaign. Nope. It was to bring in a new leader and to create a whole new role at the top to tackle this thing head on. And that leader is Robyn Zacharias, Atlantic Bay's very first Chief Marketing Officer. Her job, her entire mission, is to grab the reins of their marketing, brand, and communications with one crystal clear goal. Make sure that Atlantic Bay is never, ever a secret again.
And you can really see the strategy in the CEO's own words. He calls her a proven leader who's going to elevate their marketing and strengthen connections. Just notice that language for a second. It's not about doing more marketing. It's about fundamentally changing how the company shows up in the world.
But, okay, why her specifically? Well, this next section, a leader's track record, really shows why she is the perfect person for such a huge task. Honestly, her background really speaks for itself. Let's just start with this one number. More than 30 years. That's 3 decades of leadership experience in marketing and advertising. Think about that. That's an incredible amount of wisdom to bring into a company that's getting ready to make a really big move. And in those 30 years, she's led her own ad agency, she's guided companies to the Inc. 5000 list of fastest-growing businesses for 3 years in a row, and she's been named a Power Woman of the Year for marketing. So we're not just talking about a long career here. We're talking about a proven history of driving real, measurable, explosive growth. But you know what makes her experience a really perfect fit? It's this blend of corporate know-how and community leadership. She gets the finance and retail industries for sure, but she's also deeply involved with community groups like the Chambers Commerce and Ronald McDonald House. And for a mortgage lender, a business that is built 100% on trust and local relationships, that double-sided perspective is priceless. Okay. So, we've got the problem, and we've got the person. So now, what's the plan? What does her arrival really mean for where the company's headed? Well, the mission is pretty simple. Go loud.
This comparison really says it all, doesn't it? They're moving away from what we're calling the secret era, where the focus was just on being great at their jobs, but keeping quiet about it. And they're moving into the loud and proud era. This is a total pivot from just being successful to making sure everyone knows just how successful they are.
So, this new playbook basically boils down to 3 simple steps. First, elevate brand awareness. That's step 1. You have to stop being a secret. Then, step 2 is to strengthen connections. It's not enough for people to know your name. You want them to know and trust you. And then finally, it all comes together in step 3. Tell your story, and tell it loudly.
All right, let's zoom out. What does this one hire at this one company really signal for the rest of us? Because I think there's a much bigger lesson here about business, and especially branding, in the world we live in today. And here it is, the key takeaway. This move is basically a declaration that having a great product, whether it's mortgages or anything else, is not enough. The real engine for growth today, it's having a great story that you tell really, really well. This is what it looks like when a company goes from being product-focused to being brand-obsessed. And that leaves all of us with the big question that this whole strategy really comes down to. It's a question for any business, really. In today's super crowded, noisy world, is it better to be the absolute best at what you do, or is it better to be the best known for what you do? Well, Atlantic Bay has officially placed its bet.